great show you have put together, Peter.
Thank you.
So
It's actually, we done it for 20 years.
20 years.
And this is the biggest show we have ever done. More sold square meters and more visitors than we have ever had before. And I think it's much because it's good times now. Companies have money and so.
So the crisis is finished?
Yeah, we are in between crises. And of course, print continues to go down. So it's been interesting to see when it's been very much half print and half sign. And I think I haven't made the statistics, but I believe if we did, it would probably be 25% print or 1/3 print now, and the rest is sign. Because this with in-store, everything's in-store. Yeah. So I think 50% of what we see is in-store working.
But when you talk about that, this is the biggest event you have been doing for 20 years now. I mean, one of the things I always liked about you is that you seem to be good understanding where are we moving. I mean, you have a magazine that you publish, you have newsletters in all Scandinavia, and you are. I mean, I meet you at all the international exhibitions because you have the finger. You understand the market, don't you? I mean.
Yeah, but there's one thing I'm frustrated about, and I spoke to Ravindra Parishnis, who is the managing director of the Printers Federation here yesterday. That if there is a tool show, then people will go and look to buy the tools to go home and better do the patents they have, the inventions they do, the special products that they are doing and selling. But the graphic arts industry, they expect the vendor not only to give them the machine, but also to give them everything about how the things should be done. Yeah. So we have a few here that have invented their own solution of how to hanging in, so you don't have to have a roll-up, but can have an aluminium frame instead, or someone who have done a special software, or someone who are doing some other unique stuff. But really, most of the printers, they just want to do exactly the same as all the other printers.
And is that something that has changed in these past 20 years? Or has it always been like this?
It's always been like that. And of course, we've been spoiled. During the 90s, suddenly the print volume quadrupled. And why did it? Because we went from 1 color to 4 colors. So I mean, that meant a huge growth in print all up through the 90s. So even though you were an idiot, you were still growing your business.
But doesn't that just mean that in today's business you have to be a little bit smarter to actually make money and survive?
Yes, but the problem is that what we have seen is that there are much fewer printers today that are working more rational, but really doing the same thing. What we should see are the ones that invent a way of doing something in a different way.
Like yesterday I saw a presentation from Frederick from Gelato.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
An example that is just brilliant.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at some of the few very, very successful, like Irlanders, they have also like kind of invented themselves as an international brand. I mean, there's not a lot, but there's a few that really is lightning towers in the industry, right?
Yeah. You have a company like Hot Screen outside Göteborg also. Hot Screen are printing all these little labels in back of your shirt and so. And they are sent out to China and to everywhere because the brand owners are so scared that it will not be exactly the right color, that it will be blurring when it's washed the first time, that something will happen. So they need to know that these little items are exactly the right way, and they will work all the time.
And they're printed here in Sweden?
They do print it there, and they have, I think, 20 or 25 employees, and they do nothing but tiny little things all day,
But you know,
and send them all across the globe.
But what I find so interesting about what you say here, and I'm pretty sure that we share that thing, is that sometimes when you are in a country like Sweden or Scandinavia, where we sometimes claim that the crisis is based on a high labor cost and high taxation, things like that, and then anyway, it's possible to build a business because you are brilliant in your mindset and you find a niche that is really interesting. So, I mean, do you think that maybe it's a leading question, but do you think that actually the solution for our industry is to let our owners of the shops to be better inventing new stuff, new niches?
Invent, create. Tell your staff, tell your salespeople that for 1 week you are not allowed to sell one single 8-page brochure. It's forbidden. You are not allowed to take any orders for 8 or 16-page brochures for 1 week.
What about 7 pages then?
But then they will think, but if I do it and it's got a flap that you can tear off, yeah, that's okay. Or if I put a card on the back with a little sticker on, yeah, then it's okay. Or if I do it that we do the print embossing, so you get a special feeling, yeah, then it's okay.
But not standard.
But then you are, with every customer, forcing yourself to do something that will add the value for this customer.
See, that is, I know that you and I have been talking about this before, because I think that if the entire industry works towards only commodity print, and we only have 8 pages, 16 pages, 130 gram matte coated paper, then it will just be a race towards the bottom, because nobody can make money. Of course, the very big ones can, but it will, in my opinion, it will probably just remove the demand for more special products. And before you answer or say anything, I actually liked what you sent out for sign and print. Maybe it's not this one, but you sent out an invitation where there was like a perforation, and there was like digital printed name card directly on it, so you can just put it directly in your badge, and then
you could tear it off, go to the entrance, have it scanned, and use it as a badge. You don't have to register nothing.
No. And I was just like, when I saw it, I was just like, wow, that's a cool idea. Do you know if anybody else has noticed, or is it just you and me?
Oh no, there are several hundreds that are using it to get in. That think that's really convenient.
Was that your invention, or did you have a printer that suggested to you?
No, I wanted to do it that way because I felt, how can we do it extremely easy to register? Yeah. Well, the easiest is if you don't have to register. You just get the card. You go to the entrance, it's scanned. We already know who you are. We know your address. We know your email address, because we have a relationship to you through our magazine, through 3 newsletters a week. So we know who you are. We don't need to know anything more.
And you know what I like when I talk to you is that when we talk about something that is nice and brilliant about this industry, your eyes are just like sparkling.
Yeah.
Because I think that sometimes, also because you and I have been talking many times, I think that sometimes if it gets too boring because too many advertisers, and I mean, I think also as a publisher it becomes more and more difficult to make money, or enough money, right? But when we do these kind of things, maybe that there is a light in the end of the tunnel. Maybe we can make money if we can invent ourselves and find solutions for the industry.
Yeah, but publishing is really difficult. Yeah. But we also run into another difficulty, because we see the movement from advertisers, everything, onto our digital newsletters, and that is growing all the time. And we make good money on our newspapers, on our digital newsletters. What is difficult is the printed magazines. But then we see in Norway, where we haven't had a printed magazine since September last year. And now several exhibitors here have said to me, you need to do some. So I discussed and said, is it twice a year, one in the spring and one in the autumn? And they said, yeah, that would be perfect. And then I spoke to my chairman at lunch, and he said, we really should sit and discuss and take a day where we understand what should the magazine be in the future and where does it differentiate to the digital newsletter. So what should it be? And I think that this is really interesting, and maybe you and Klaus will join us for such a discussion
nice.
of how to try to understand the difference between the printed and the digital, because today it's not clear what should be digital and what should be printed.
We did an interview this morning, Jan and I, with Michael from Antalis, marketing manager, and he said that it was like a survey where he said that if marketing starts in paper and moves from paper to digital, the value of the marketing effort is much, much higher. And he said there was like evidence that it's not just an idea, but this is actually fact. So I think that you're completely right that, and it's a good example, because if you say that in Norway you have not had a magazine for some time, and now there's a request for getting it, it's apparently because the push media and the paper-based media has a value that's sometimes you have to not get it until you really appreciate the value of it, right? You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And of course it could be fun to discuss that kind of things, to see how to make life in a printed magazine. I think that would be brilliant to find a business model that would work out to make it profitable.
So we'll see.
But Peter, I know that you are a busy guy, and I just wanted to just briefly talk to you because I really appreciate that we're filming here at Sign and Print. I think it's a great exhibition, and to all the people out there who didn't even come, shame on you. This is too good. Not shame on you, but they should be here because inspiration, and I think also the exhibitors have put a lot of effort in doing a nice booth here. And I hope that Denmark Sign and Print in the autumn will be successful for you as well.
Yeah, just like it was last time.
Last year, that was really great.
We're finally finding a form, so that's nice.
That's really great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.